Welcome to the Fancounters Celebrity Podcast. My name's Nick. Thanks so much for being here. You can follow us on Twitter at Fancounters Live. We also have a private Facebook group you can join. It is called Sharpie Nation. Just go to Facebook, type in Sharpie Nation, kind of like you're getting an autograph, and you can join that group. We also have 29,000 people following us in our big Facebook group. Just search Fancounters to find that group, and it's pretty easy to find. If you join the big group, make sure you set our messages to show first so you never miss a post. Lastly, if you want to email us comments or questions, we're available at hello@fancounters.com. Now, this week I'm pretty excited for the show because we have a very young actor from a show that I have been watching since it came back on television. We are welcoming Finn Carr, who plays one of Joey Gladstone's kids in the hit show Fuller House. That can be found on Netflix. And Netflix has been very good to this young guy because he is also in a show called Alexa and Katie. It is a huge show with new episodes coming out in April. And we're going to find out all about that on the show today. Plus, with Betty White turning 98 years old, this young man at the age of 4 was in Hot in Cleveland with Betty White. We're going to find out what that experience was like for him. I can't remember anything from when I was 4 years old. This young man has a memory he'll never forget, and he's going to tell us on the show today.
Coming to you from nowhere near the entertainment capital of the world, this is Fancounters with Nick and Elizabeth on the Podfix Network.
There was this mob of people, and they're screaming my name.
Crazy fans.
Stop following me. Don't come around my house. If you do, the cops are going to be at yours.
If I'm having dinner with my wife, don't sit down at my table. Don't follow me into the bathroom.
Can I take a picture? We're gonna. Oh my God.
I think this guy wants to fight me. Ended up being a fan.
I'm the only one that's ever been on Sam Jackson and lived to tell about it.
Well, guess what? I have a big surprise for you.
That's why we call it Fancounters.
I don't think you're going to last on the air very long.
Finn Carr, welcome to Fancounters. Thanks for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm glad you joined us. So you were 6 years old. I know you started acting at age 4, and I have a question about that coming up. But at age 6, audiences saw you when you were playing a pageant winner on the show Hot in Cleveland. And you, at that very young age, had scenes with some big stars like Valerie Bertinelli, Craig Ferguson, and Betty White. Of course, Betty White just turned 98 the other day, so I can't think of a more fitting question than to hear about your experience working with those stars.
Yeah, well, actually, I was a little bit younger. I was 4, and it was a very, very, very fun experience to be on that show with all those big stars. And Betty White was very, very sweet. She even pulled me up on her lap, and we took a picture.
I bet that's something you'll remember forever.
Yes, it's definitely a very big moment in my life.
Yeah, you know, a lot of kids don't remember stuff from 4, but when you have such a big time experience like that, it's got to stick with you.
Yes. It's like those one random things that you will remember.
So acting at age 4 is pretty young to start out. And I know you had an older sibling acting. Did your mom and dad see that you had that same natural ability, and that's why you kind of went in that direction?
Well, actually, I was very fun and energetic and not shy at all. But my brother actually acted before me, so I kind of just, followed in the footsteps.
And did you like it as much as him? I mean, were you really into it, or is it kind of like, oh, well, I guess he's doing it?
I love it. So much fun to work on shows, meet new people.
What are some of the roles that your brother has done? I actually didn't look him up, but has he been on other shows as well?
Actually, funny enough, he's been on Mighty Med with Paris, who is actually on Alexa and Katie with me.
Yeah.
So that was kind of coincidental.
So do you remember at a young age what your audition was like for Hot in Cleveland? Or, and then the other question is, if you don't remember that, but how have your auditions changed as you've gotten older?
Well, I don't really remember the Hot in Cleveland one too well because I was so young. Mm-hmm. But it was very fun. I remember that part at least. And auditions have changed for me because it has gone from, being really little and being able to get perks from just having a good personality to actually having to have some raw talent.
But they probably demand a little bit more of you in the audition room than what they previously did.
I get from 3 page sides, and now I'm going up to about one time I did one for 12 pages.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Was that all memorized?
Yes, I have to be off book for most of my roles because it helps me focus on the character and not saying the lines. So, yeah.
Well, our audience knows you a lot because you played Joey Gladstone's obnoxious child in Fuller House. Before you
Yeah.
before you went on that show, did you watch any of the original series?
When I was at my grandma's house, at night they played old Full Houses, and I love to watch them on Nickelodeon.
So seeing that set when you're watching the show and then you get to walk on the same set kind of recreated all these years later, that had to be kind of a weird feeling.
That was one of the best feelings that I've ever felt. I was so amazed. I was like, I'm actually here now. It's not on my grandma's TV.
Hopefully your grandma got to watch you on that show.
Oh, yes. My grandma loves to brag about me.
That's great. Now, you originally were being considered for a more main role for that show, Fuller House, right?
Yes, I went to two of the big tests for it.
You were trying to play Max, right?
Yes, I was. I was going in for Max, sorry.
You've had a couple shows taped in front of a live studio audience, right? Fuller House was one of them.
Yes. Yes, I did. It was Full House out in Cleveland was also, and now my show is mainly taped in front of live audiences.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. Sometimes with those shows, though, cut in the laugh track, I actually, when I was watching, couldn't tell if it was live or not. So that's interesting. Does that make does it make you nervous to do that, to act in front?
Not at all. It's my favorite night because it just, sometimes the episodes are too big to have live audiences and are going to be too long. It really brings me down when I'm doing it. When I have a live audience, it's like they're feeding me energy so I can have a better performance.
How interactive do you get with the audience on tape nights?
I love to sign autographs, talk with fans about the show that they just watched. It's very fun to talk with fans.
And you're pretty good at memorizing lines, I assume. Do you have any tips for those aspiring actors and actresses?
Well, one of my really good ways to memorize lines is just saying it out loud over and over and over again.
Okay.
And the only way that the people are going to believe it is if you believe it. So try really, really hard to get the lines good and and try your hardest not to mess up on them. And saying them in your head, you might read them for 6 hours in your head, but it will definitely be different saying them out loud.
Have you ever recorded the other lines of the script, like into your phone, so you could try and get that timing down, or just practice your lines off of the other lines in the script?
Normally, my mom just says the lines, the other person's lines, when she runs it with me to get it good. So no, I never really do that.
Your current Netflix series is called Alexa and Katie, and it does have a lot of funny moments, but it does go along with some serious stories as well. So is it easy for you to kind of float between those emotions that the series puts you through?
Well, I don't have really many of those very serious moments. Normally, I'm like the guy who, when everyone's thinking that something bad's going to happen, walks in and is like, hey, where's the pizza?
You are the comic relief.
I'm the comedic relief, yeah.
So you do play Katie's brother, Jack. Katie is Alexa's friend, and Alexa is the one dealing with cancer. Tell us about Jack and how similar and different you are from that character that you're portraying.
Some similarities is we both don't like to wear pants. I am wearing pants for this interview, by the way.
Thank goodness.
Well, we're both very wild and kind of crazy. And, yeah, I relate a lot to that and the no pants, of course.
Okay.
And some differences is our clothes. We definitely have a different style in clothes. He's more of a baggy clothes type of guy, and I'm more of the sleek fit. And I do not like peanut butter at all, but he loves it. So, yeah, those are the differences.
So do you have to eat it on camera?
Actually, in one of the scenes, our amazing prop lady, her name's Holly, I adore her, she was clever enough to put vanilla pudding on one side of the peanut butter jar and real peanut butter on the other side. So
Wow.
when in one of the scenes, Jolie, who plays Jennifer, has to lick peanut butter. She's okay with peanut butter, so she just had the real peanut butter side, and I was lucky enough to have some yogurt, or it was pudding. Yeah, it was pudding.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was definitely a step up from the peanut butter.
Well, you've talked about this before in other interviews that I was reading through, but it's worth mentioning here because there are some real interactions. There was that one scene in season 1 when you were asking Alexa about her illness, things that kids might find hard to understand. You know, why does this happen to somebody and how does this person feel? Is it difficult to film a scene like that when you're being inquisitive and really trying to learn?
No, it's not really too hard. I'm used to, though, being the real, like, the funny guy in it. But it was really cool and fun to play a different emotion and actually show some of Jack's different personalities and stuff like that.
Well, that's kind of what I love about the show, though, is it has a lot of comedic relief, but at the same time, there's an underlying tone that's serious with a real issue, and that you don't see a lot of comedies where real serious things are being portrayed. So that does make this show very unique and probably pretty neat to be a part of.
That's what I really love about it.
So walk me through a normal week for you. I also heard that you go to real school, so I kind of want to hear how you balance your whole entire life and like, tell me about, once you're off of hiatus and you're back to work, what's a week like for you?
Not a shooting week or just a normal.
Well, let's
week?
hear about a shooting week.
We are very good with time. We leave. It takes us an hour to get there, so we leave an hour early with a half an hour cushion. So we leave an hour and a half early. So the time is pretty easy to balance out because we always get there very early. We have table reads, we have shooting, it's memorizing lines, of course. So yeah, shooting week is very full, but very exciting and fun.
What time are you leaving in the morning to get there?
Probably like 7 to 8 a.m. normally.
Okay. I was wondering if you were like one of those, like, we got to be there at 6 a.m. And so you're really, you have a really long day.
Well, sometimes we do have really long shoot days, but normally our call time is like around maybe like 10 or 9.
Okay.
But sometimes our call time is like 7:30, so we have to get up around like 6:10 maybe, so pretty early.
So are weekends on shooting weeks, is that your downtime, or is there not a lot of downtime when the season's rolling?
It is our downtime mostly, so we have, a lot of lazy days where we lay in bed and kind of get our energy charging up for the, the live taping, waking up early, all that stuff.
Okay. And you do go to real school.
Mm-hmm. Yes. School is fairly easy to balance out because I just on our breaks, I go to normal school, or 1 week breaks, I go to normal school. And when I'm playing the role of Jack for about 3 weeks in a row, we have set school. So I'm keeping up to date on my knowledge.
Okay. Now, when you go back to school after being gone for a while, I'm always curious, as a child actor, are you getting treated any differently because you are kind of in the spotlight and others might not be at your school?
No, not really. Everyone's pretty just interested in it. No one's really being mean.
Do other people at your school, sometimes Hollywood kids all go to the same school or whatever. Do you have other kids at your school that are also in other shows?
Oh, no, I'm no one else at my school.
You're
is an
it.
actor.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the unique queen.
Now, I also know that you were doing voices in the Peanuts movie. You were, or not the movie, the Peanuts cartoon series, those short animated series. And you were playing Rerun, right?
Yes, Rerun Van Pelt.
So tell me a little bit about voice acting where you're not being seen versus all the on-camera stuff you've done. What's different about that? Do you like one better than the other?
It's definitely a very different experience because you don't really focus on how believable you look. it's more of how believable your voice is. So if you're running in a show, you'd actually have to be running. But in this, you just have to go. So it's definitely very different. I definitely like to do voice acting, but I'm more of a on television where people can see me type of guy.
Okay. Now, when I was a kid, I watched shows like Full House and actually wrote letters to cast members and that kind of thing. Are cast members still getting fan mail, or is everything on social media?
Well, I have gotten some fan mail occasionally, but most of it is on, social media and stuff like that. But I can't speak for any of the other cast members or anybody else who I've worked with because I've never asked them. Gotcha. But you are actually getting letters sent to you, and they find your way to you at sometimes? Yeah, mostly they're like through my team, and my team gives them to me. So my managers, give them to me and stuff. Now, on Fancounters, we're all about hearing about your interactions with fans, some fun stories you might have had, outrageous stories. What interactions come to mind when you think of fan interactions that you've had? Well, one time someone asked me to autograph their arm, so that was pretty interesting. Okay. And once there was a whole crowd of people who all asked for my autograph, so I definitely on their shirt. So I had to, and they're all really tall, so I was standing on my tippy toes trying to sign their shoulders. So that was a very interesting experience. How do you deal with it when there's not enough time to get to everybody? I mean, what's that like for on your side? As fans, they're disappointed that maybe they didn't get something from you, but for you, what's that like when you can't get to everybody? I definitely try my hardest to get to everyone, and normally I do, but when I don't get to everyone, I feel kind of bad because they waited the whole show, but they couldn't get the autograph that they wanted. So yeah, it's definitely hard when no one gets the thing that they really wanted. But yeah, it's just you can't really do anything because there are just so many people. And have you attended award shows and that kind of stuff where you've walked red carpets before? Yes, I've walked many red carpets in my day. In your very long career, yeah. What's it like for you? Is that pretty surreal to have a ton of cameras and people wanting to interview you and all that? How do you handle that? What's that experience like for you? It's quite fun, actually. When I was at the Emmy Awards, it was really, really bright and poppy because everyone was going, and I was like, where do I look? So you've gotten a chance to be real close to a lot of big stars, I assume. So have you ever been starstruck by somebody? Have you met a hero that you've always looked up to? Well, I don't really get starstruck, but it was definitely cool to meet John Stamos on Fuller House. Oh, wow. Okay. And what kind of interaction did you have the very first time? What was that like? Could you not speak, or what happened? I definitely asked for a picture. I remember that. And when we were doing the show, he always called me Shorty. Okay. So I called him Tolly. Tolly? Tolly, yeah, because he called me Shorty. I am jealous of his hair, that's for sure. Yeah, he has a standing hair. I read that someday you want to make it in the Guinness Book of World Records. So have you figured out what you're going to do? What's the goal here? Well, I definitely want to do something with pickles because I'm obsessed with them. So probably eat the most pickles in one sitting. Now, are you a sweet pickle or dill pickle guy? Dill, definitely. Really? I thought you were going to say the sweet ones. Okay. Nope, not for me. I'm dill all the way. Well, we are taping the show from Wisconsin, so we are all in mourning today because Green Bay got pummeled by the 49ers yesterday. So the Super Bowl is set. So who are you rooting for in this year's Super Bowl, the Chiefs or the Niners? I'm a Niners fan. I figured. You are from San Francisco originally, aren't you? Yes, I am. Well, so you were probably very happy with the outcome yesterday. Yeah, I ate, I think, 8 cookies at my grandpa's house. You didn't even need the sugar to be that excited. What's your go-to snacks for watching a football game? Cookies and ribs, probably. Barbecue ribs? Yeah, I love the ribs. You can put pickles with that, too. Oh, really? I've never tried that. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I need to try that.
Pickles, barbecue
I'm
sauce,
telling
and
my grandpa
ribs.
to buy pickles.
Yeah. Well, lastly, I want to get to what some of your favorite things are. I want to start with television. What shows do you watch? What are you into?
I like to watch Monk on Amazon.
Okay.
I binge watch that. I probably watch every single season. What else? I like to watch a lot of YouTube. I like to do YouTube channels. I'm not much of a. Oh yes, I love Stranger Things. That's
Oh,
one of
right.
my big shows that I like. I was going through all my Netflix shows.
Okay, very cool. What about movies? Have you been to the movies lately? Have you seen anything?
Actually, today my sister was wanting to go see Frozen 2 with my grandma. And we accidentally bought tickets to the sing-along. So I had a bunch of 5-year-olds behind me all singing "Let It Go."
They don't sing "Let It Go" in Frozen 2, though.
Oh yes, they don't, but they were definitely singing.
They're singing
that
everything
one
else.
And, some of the new ones, yeah.
So what was better, Frozen 1 or 2 for you?
I definitely liked 1 better.
Interesting. Okay.
Frozen 2, it didn't really have clear of a plot line to me, really. I got kind of confused on the plot.
See, I thought Frozen 2 had a little bit more of an adventure story to it. It was just a little bit
It
more.
had definitely a lot more magic in it, which I liked.
For sure.
I wish Frozen 1 had more magic.
And what is something about you that maybe maybe nobody knows? What's something like a hidden talent or something you've always wanted to do or try? What's something that nobody knows about you?
Oh, I have a mole in my belly button.
That was a lot more information than I thought I was getting.
Oh, shoot, yeah. I really got to stop telling people that.
That's funny. Finn, it's been a pleasure. I'm really glad you chose to join us and talk about Alexa and Katie. Is there anything about the show that I didn't ask you that would be good for viewers to know?
Well, make sure to stay tuned because the next 8 episodes are dropping, I think, April? Yeah,
Okay.
or dropping April. So make sure to watch those and follow my Instagram. My Instagram is Finn_Carr08.
Finn_Carr08, right?
Yes, that is me.
Excellent. And do you have a YouTube channel too?
Yes, I do. It's just Finn Carr, and I'm planning on doing some late night cooking with Finn videos where
Ooh.
I microwave mini pizzas and other stuff like that.
You could get more adventurous than that. You come
Yeah,
up
I
with
do a
whole new
lot of weird
recipes.
stuff. One time I ate a cricket on my YouTube channel.
Oh, yikes.
So I was going to get money in a video game. There was an in-game currency that I really wanted to get because there was a really cool cosmetic that I wanted.
Did that work out for you?
For it. Yes, I did. I was able to get the cosmetic that I wanted.
Okay, good. Oh, man. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Finn, for joining us. And we will
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. We'll definitely follow you and get the listeners to do that as well. All right, Finn, have a great upcoming week and weekend. And I do appreciate your time tonight.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye. My
thanks to Finn Carr for joining us on the show this week. We actually, I really do appreciate him and his publicist for being so understanding because we had an original time for today. And then my daughter's talent show came up and they said, can you come and help us out? And I thought, well, I kind of never back out on guests because, they're taking time out of their schedule to fit me in. But Finn did everything he could to make this interview happen many hours later. And so I want to say thank you to him. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we'd love for you to give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting platform. You can do that by looking up Fancounters and giving us a 5-star and some comments. That would be great too. You can reach us by email. You can email hello@fancounters.com. Now, come back again next Friday because we've got another celebrity guest. You won't want to miss the show. And we'll see you next Friday. Have a great week, everybody.